Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and I got some Week 3 grades for the Raiders' absolute debacle against the Minnesota Vikings. So before I get into mine, grade the Raiders Week 3 versus the Vikings. What this should say is C, D, F, or WTF. Grade the Raiders Week 3 versus the Minnesota Vikings. Let's get into the offense here. The offense against the Vikings did not look good whatsoever, and I'm giving them a D-. If you want to see some Ds, guess what? You don't have to slide in my DMs. You can just watch this grade video because there's going to be a bunch of them. So points against the Vikings. Well, hey, we got 14. But if you actually watch the game, you'll know that that last touchdown was an absolute garbage time to TYRELL Williams. Pass yards, 214. Rush yards, 88. Total yards, 302. Again, because the offense just dinked and dunked down freaking the entire game, 5.2 yards per play. If the NBA wants to have a dunk contest, the NBA also needs to hold a dink and dunk contest, and maybe the Raiders can join it. Let's go to the defense now. Offense gets a D-. The defense, you guys get a D+. I guess that's a little bit better, right? Now, I'll ask you guys here in a little bit who played worse, the offense or the defense. But, again, you allowed 34 points. But you could say, well, the Raiders only allowed 385 total yards. But again, if you watch the game, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison literally ran the football down the Raiders' throats. The defensive line had absolutely no answer. Kirk Cousins had all day to throw. They forced 0 sacks, no pressure whatsoever on Cousins, and the defensive line just straight up got bullied up front. So everyone who's watching this show right now, who played worse, the offense or the defense? I'm going to say the offense played worse because I think the offense put the defense on the field a lot more than what they should have been, put the defense in some tough situations. So I guess I'm going to be typing my O for offense. But hey, any diehard Raider fans out there, subscribe to the Raiders Report because I need y'all after that game. Let's go to special teams. Wasn't very special. Gets a D. And D for Daniel Carlson. This was your time to have a revenge game, Daniel. Maybe you just can't kick in Minnesota. Now for your career, you're 0 for 4 in Minnesota. Yes, it was a 51-yard field goal. Yes, it was a longer field goal. But very, very depressing that you missed your only chance there. Raider Nation, we need to stick together because after watching that game, I'll tell you what, I need to be able to hit up some people where I can be like, yo, I need a drink after work today, and I need to be able to get some more subscribers here. That way I can hit you guys up. Let's get to 30K subscribers. Currently at 25,670. Hit that big red button. We got to continue to grow the nation. Let's go to another player here, near and dear to my heart. Derek Carr, you're going to get a D. D for dink and dunk because that's all this offense continued to do the entire game. 2 touchdowns. The 1 interception was a very, very bad overthrow. And you're going to look at this and say, well, Mitch, he was 27 of 34 for 242 yards. That means you're just box score watching because if you watch this game 1 through 3, Derek was scared. Now, I'm not going to put all the blame on him because simply the offensive line would not protect him whatsoever. But now I've seen already people have been asking me this question on Instagram. Heck, they've been asking me all over the internet. So I'm going to ask you guys because this is the most interactive Raiders channel on YouTube, on Facebook. Will Derek Carr be a Raider in 2020? Y for yes and for no. I've had so many people already giving me all the top quarterbacks coming out next year. Will Derek Carr be a Raider in 2020? Y for yes and for no. Let's go to the running back position now. Talking about Josh Jacobs. I thought he looked good when he had the opportunity, but you're going to get a C grade because the game was average at best. The game script really hurt Josh Jacobs. Luckily, he had an 18-yard run where you could kind of see him get the ball moving a little bit. 4.4 yards per carry. But you could also tell that Josh Jacobs was not fully healthy. They had to continue to bring him in and out of the game. They kept saying it during the broadcast that he was dealing with cramps or he was dealing with dehydration. I understand he was sick. I understand he's lost 10 pounds. But, man, I'll tell you what. My wallet is about 10 pounds lighter because of the amount of money that I lost because the Raiders lost by 9.5 points. I was like, there's no way they're going to lose by 9.5. The over-under, over. So hopefully you guys were smarter than me, and hopefully you put your money on the Vikings. And maybe going forward, if the Raiders can continue to play like that, you should bet against the freaking Raiders every single week. Go to BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use my promo code Raiders120 for 120% deposit bonus. Sure, the Raiders did not play well. But if you're a betting man and you want to make some money, bet against the Raiders. Because if they're going to play like that, I know I'm going to start doing it. Chatsports.com/bet. Let's go to Tyrell Williams now, who luckily got a touchdown, 3 catches, 29 yards. But you're going to get a C- because when you quarters 1 through 3, Tyrell Williams was totally shut out of this game. I mean, point blank, he was not even a factor. And then he got a garbage time touchdown because I think the Minnesota Vikings kind of felt bad for the Raiders, that they were absolutely embarrassing them. And it was 31-7. Realistically, I don't even know if the freaking Vikings even broke a sweat in this game. Let's go to Darren Waller. You see me smiling? Because he's the only guy that showed up in this game. Darren, you get an A+. You know what? People were like, Mitch, the Raiders don't have a top option. Darren Waller is the top option for the Oakland Raiders. The only frustrating part is he did see 14 targets. That's not frustrating. The Raiders did not target Darren Waller until they were losing 21-0. Why? Why is our best option not getting the ball? You target a player 14 times, he comes down with 13 catches, 134 yards. Continue to feed Darren Waller. He's the only player the first 3 weeks that has shown up. Whew. Take a breath, Mitch. Take a breath. Darren Waller, you get an A+. Good job, my man. Let's go to J.J. Nelson, a guy who's dealing with a lot of injuries coming into this game. You're going to get a B grade for me. He was able to show the speed. Luckily, the Raiders drew up a nice little play for him, a flea flicker that led to a touchdown, 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. The touchdown was 29 yards. The Raiders need to add some speed. They need to be able to find some guys who can make some plays down the field. Maybe J.J. Nelson can do that. The only issue is if the offensive line can't block, it doesn't matter if you have guys that can stretch the field because you're just going to get blown up. So the offensive line, you guys get a D. It was a very, very bad performance. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit better with Richie Incognito back. But like Trent Brown, I understand you've been banged up, but you got absolutely blasted. Colton Miller was just an absolute turnstile this week. Rodney Hudson, I thought, played well, but like the guards, Incognito and Good, did not look good whatsoever. And if I had one word to describe this Raiders offensive line, it was absolute Swiss cheese. So I would ask everyone who's watching this show right now, because I need to laugh a little bit, what's your favorite kind of cheese? Because if the offensive line continues to play like Swiss cheese, it's going to be really, really stinky down the road. My favorite kind of cheese is cheddar. Let's go to the defensive line now. The Raiders D-line gets a D-. No pressure whatsoever on Kirk Cousins. None. And then the running backs absolutely embarrassed us. What was the one thing I said? We got to make Kirk Cousins beat us. Well, he kind of beat us. I mean, 15 of 21 for 174 yards and a touchdown. Super efficient, not a lot of yards, but he didn't need to be special. He had all day to freaking sit back there, read the defense, and when you're just getting killed by the running backs, man, all you got to do is be 15 to 21, and you're going to win some football games. Let's talk about the linebackers a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit more lenient on them. The linebackers dealt with a lot of injuries. They're going to get a C grade for me. Markel Lee went down early, did not return. Vontez Burfict left. They said he wasn't going to return, and then all of a sudden, he came back out on the field. Vontez Burfict, you're going to get a clap from me. A lot of toughness shown by you. But the running backs for the Vikings absolutely killed the Raiders. I mean, 16 carries, 110 yards for Dalvin Cook. Continues to show that right now he might be the best running back in the NFL. But wait, he wasn't the only guy. Alexander Madison, the rookie out of Boise State, got his first touchdown of his career. 4.8 yards per carry, 58 yards. You're just not going to win many games giving up over 200 rushing yards. And, man, I don't know what's worse than watching the Vikings run the football up and down our throats. Oh, wait, I do. Watching the Raiders lose to the Vikings and then me have to watch and sit through damn commercials all the time. Get rid of commercials, man. If you're still sitting there watching commercials, I really question what you're doing in life. Go to chatsports.com/Mitch. Get rid of commercials, because if you got to watch the Raiders stink it up against the Vikings, at least be happy, get rid of commercials. Download it now. My TV choice. All right, let's go to the secondary. Hopefully they were better than what they were against the Chiefs, right? Couldn't be much worse. You get a D. Hey, you're improving. I mean, the secondary, what's the one thing we need to prevent? Long plays. What happens? Adam Thielen, first quarter, 35-yard touchdown. Like, we need to be able to find a lockdown cornerback because Garyon Conley is not the answer right now. Bad penalties and just bad play overall by this secondary. Adam Thielen, he got a receiving touchdown. Rushing touchdown's not on the secondary's fault. But we need to be able to contain these wide receivers being able to stretch the ball down the field. Overall, a very, very disappointing game by the Oakland Raiders. So, Raider Nation, get your anger out. Grade the Raiders week 3 versus the Vikings. A, B, C. If I see an A, B, C, or D in this entire episode, I'm really going to question whether or not you're just a bot from Russia. So grade the Raiders week 3 versus the Vikings. D, F, or WTF. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. I need a drink. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.